Broadcasting from the Any Hour Services podcast studios, I'm your host, Mike Wilson, and on this episode of In the House, we're back with another episode of Who's in the House. Stick around.
It is a different one. I was expecting the
In the House button sound, right?
Yeah, I was, yeah.
We changed it up. It's a different show.
Okay.
A show within a show, and so you have to have a different sting for that one.
Okay, that makes sense.
So,
yeah.
And since, technically we haven't released any episodes yet, I mean, you'll be episode 4, the 4th episode with technicians. But so welcome. That was your surprise.
Thank
right
you.
There.
I was very surprised.
Well, as those of you listening already know, In the House is a podcast about the major systems in the house, electrical, plumbing, heating, and air conditioning. But we wanted to get to know the men and women in the trades, the people that are helping to keep those systems running, keep your home safe and comfortable. And that's why we're calling this Who's in the House? Because, Mike, you are one of those who's in the house.
Yes, I am. Yes.
Our guest today is Mike Perry. Mike Perry, why don't you go ahead and tell us, introduce yourself, what you do for the company, and however, I don't know, when you're meeting someone for the first time, just forget the fact that you've got millions of people listening. Maybe. Actually, if you can imagine that'd be great. But
okay.
Anyway, introduce yourself.
So I am Mike Perry. I am a drainage technician. I am also one of the drains department trainers. If you're wondering what a drainage technician is, simply put, we unclog drains.
That's it. That's like the crux of what you do.
Basically,
that's how many drain issues there are out there.
Yep.
That you can have a full-time job just dealing with the drains in the house.
Absolutely.
Where did you grow up? Are you from Utah?
Yep. I'm from Utah, Pleasant Grove.
Nice.
Yeah.
What part of Pleasant Grove? Like where at?
Right near the high school.
Near the high school.
North of it. Yeah.
Okay. North of the high school. My wife grew up in Pleasant Grove.
Okay.
As well.
First North, 7th East area.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. We live in Pleasant Grove right now.
Yeah.
And so we're down by we're on Locust.
Oh yeah.
And so over by the rec center out there. Where do you live now? Are you still in Pleasant Grove?
No, my wife and I live down in Spanish Fork.
Spanish Fork. Mm-hmm. So, all right, let's talk about when you were growing up. What kind of kid were you? How would you describe yourself?
I was the rambunctious rebel rouser.
Really?
Uh-huh.
What does rebel rousing look like in Pleasant Grove?
Usually raiding my dad's tool shed.
Okay.
Growing up, there were all these lots where we could ride our bicycles, and we'd ride our bikes and go to the dirt mounds. And
nice. More orchards probably back then than there are now. Actually, how long ago was this? How old are you?
I mean, I'm only 25.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes more sense. Every time my wife's driving around, she's like, I remember when this was all fields and orchards. I'm like, well, that was a while ago.
Right. No, all the dirt mounds that we used to ride, though, those have all been turned into homes.
Into homes now. Are you married, single?
Married.
Kids?
Not yet.
Not yet? How long you been married?
2 years.
2 years. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You like marriage?
I love it.
Does that work out for? Well, you probably should say that.
No, I really do. I love being married.
Well, yeah. What else would you say on a podcast that your wife's going to listen to?
Yes.
Just kidding. Let's see. What do you do for fun?
I like to play video games.
Okay.
I'm a PC gamer.
PC gamer.
Yep.
And so no Xbox, no PlayStation. You prefer?
I prefer PC, but I also have a PlayStation 4.
Gotcha.
I'm also really into Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Do they have in Dungeons and Dragons, do they have like any certifications? Like, are you a level 4 dungeon master?
Not formally, nothing like that, but I'm kind of the forever DM in my friend group. So I rarely get to play as a character, and I'm always running the campaigns.
Are you good with that?
Oh yeah, it's fun.
So you don't have other groups where you can go and actually play as a player. You're just always the dungeon master.
I could go to, someplace like Dragon's Keep down in Spanish Fork and find a group to play with. But I really do enjoy the challenge of being a dungeon master and coming up with ideas and things on the fly.
How often do you guys get together?
About every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks. See, my middle son he got into Dungeons and Dragons probably, I don't know, it's probably over a year now. And they get together every other weekend and just some kids in the neighborhood and they go and play. And I'm getting all excited for him. I was like, when are you going to start running campaigns? Are you going to start doing this stuff? But right now he's just enjoying being a character. And whenever a campaign ends, he's like, I need a new name. Got to come up with this. And he's, got his little pouch of dice that he rolls and he comes home with his little sheet that he marks things on. And I did not grow up playing Dungeons and Dragons, but I think that I would like that kind of game, but I never really got into it. So, for me, so that I can connect better with my son, because I'll ask him questions to try and connect with him, but as most kids do, I don't know that they're great at explaining a bunch of things. So break down, tell me something, give me an insider tip so that I can go home tonight and be like, yo, how did this go? And he's like, whoa, Dad, you know so much. I just want to be cool. Maybe there's no help for me.
I don't know that there's one thing, because the campaigns are what the DM and how the players make them.
Sure.
The DM is more just to facilitate and make sure that the campaign keeps moving. Really, the biggest thing is ask him how it went. How did your fights go? Did you roll any high rolls or,
So high rolls and fights.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll ask him those questions.
Yeah.
When did you first get into Dungeons and Dragons?
I got into Dungeons and Dragons a few years ago.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So when it was after high school.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you get introduced to Dungeons and Dragons?
So a coworker at my previous work they were just talking, and I'd heard of Dungeons and Dragons, and I thought of the guys in the basement drinking the Mountain Dew and the Doritos, and I rolled initiative, that kind of thing. But
you don't eat Doritos and drink Mountain Dew?
not usually, no.
Huh. Okay.
And we don't dress up in cosplay or anything like that.
Do other people?
Oh, some people, they go ham.
Really?
When it comes to that, yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, more power to you.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. It's not my cup of tea, but
Okay. So you started out as a player and got hooked.
Yep.
At what point did you transition to being a dungeon master?
So I played a campaign with some friends and then just didn't play for a long time. And I thought, I want to play Dungeons and Dragons again, but I don't have anyone that I know that actively plays. So I just started talking to all my friends. So I've actually got 2 groups that I play with right now. There's a friend group with my wife and some of our friends, and then I actually play with another group of guys here at Any Hour.
What?
Yeah.
We have a Dungeons and Dragons Any Hour group?
We do.
Did anyone know about this? How come I have not been made aware of this?
Well, you're welcome to join.
Well, I don't know anything. I would ruin the game. How many people can play?
Oh, you can have as small as just a one-on-one player and dungeon master. You can have, I think, up to 12 people in a single campaign.
How many people are underground Dungeons and Dragons at Any Hour services?
That I know of?
Well, that are in the group.
Oh, that are in the group? I'm just going to call them out.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. We're not trying to put anybody on blast, but if you think they're good with it, hey, we got something to tease. If you want to know about the secret underground Dungeons and Dragons ring.
I'll give them a shout out. There's Dakota in Drains, Tyler Oaks in Sewers, Andrew Dean in Fleet, James Frazier, who's now in Drains, was in Dispatch. Jeremiah Kahn, who's in Dispatch. And then, and then there's another friend of Tyler's that's not at Any Hour, but his name is Han.
Wow.
Yeah.
I cannot be the only person that's never heard of the Dungeons and Dragons ring at Any Hour Services. So anyone listening, if you are a Dungeons and Dragons fan and you want to join this underground society at Any Hour Services, get a hold of Mike Perry. I'm sure it's mike.perry@anyhourservices.com.
Yep, that's it.
Wow, that's amazing. So like you guys get together on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like what day? You say every other week?
Mm-hmm. Usually every other Sunday.
Every other Sunday, huh?
Yeah.
How long do these like campaigns go? Or do you just do a game, or do you do an entire campaign?
Oh no, you can't do a whole campaign.
Right. Okay, that's what I get from my kid.
They can go weeks, months, even years. There's groups that have played for 10 years. And
come on, guys.
yeah.
Let's wrap it up. Start a new one.
But we usually play in a session between an hour to 3 hours, depending on how much time everyone has. But everyone's got family that they have to take care of and spend time with on Sunday. So we try and have a little bit of fun time for ourselves, but also be conscious of everyone's families.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, there you go. I did not expect to uncover that nugget of truth on the show. But this is where you come to get the scoop.
Yes. Yeah.
Austin, Cam, you guys D&D fans?
I am not.
Cam, that was Cam.
I've always wanted to, but I've never played it.
Austin,
I was same as you, Mike. Like where it's kind of like I think I'd be into it.
Should we go one Sunday?
We should.
And check it out. When's your next game? Well, do you have to start at the beginning of a campaign, or can you just make a surprise appearance?
I can make a one-shot for you guys. Just a one-shot game where...
Well, we don't want like a special session. We want to interact with we want to be brought into the fold, right, Austin? Like,
yeah, I mean, I feel like it's the only right way to do it.
Right. You got to kind of experience it. If we wanted to dress up, could we? I know you guys don't.
You could. I stream it on Twitch. Yeah.
Man, we're learning all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Get at us after. Let us know when we're going to do this. Austin,
Okay.
maybe we go. Cam, you going to come too?
No, Devin plays.
Devin plays too?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, sorry for all the D&D talk, everyone. But we just figured that out. That's part of who Mike is, and that's why we're learning about who's in the house. Okay, cool. So you said you game as well. Do you have like a go-to game that you play?
Not a game specific, but I like first-person strategy shooters. So games like Counter-Strike, Rainbow Six Siege, the search and destroy missions within Call of Duty, things like that.
So does your wife enjoy the same things that you do as far like is she playing Dungeons and Dragons and gaming with you as well?
Yeah, so she plays Dungeons and Dragons with a different friend group, or with the other friend group, not the
Any Hour group.
guys. Yeah, but she doesn't play video games. But yeah,
But she's supportive.
Yeah, she's supportive. Very supportive.
Well, that's really cool. So that's what you do to have fun. Is that also like what you do to unwind, or are those two different things? Like after let's say it's not the weekend. Let's say you've had a hard day clearing drains or whatever. Well, what does your day look like? Does it? How early does it start? How late does it end?
So usually it's a 9 to 5 schedule. So I arrive at the first home at 9 o'clock. And then I will take calls until 5 o'clock in the evening.
Okay.
And I'm running usually anywhere between 3 to 5 calls per day.
Okay. So you're getting home at a pretty reasonable hour. Do you like take calls up until 5, or your last call usually ends around 5?
I usually take calls until 5.
So once you get home, you've had a hard day of clearing drains. What do you do to unwind or relax?
I just genuinely like to spend time with my wife.
Nice.
She helps me unwind. She just gets me. She knows when I've had a rough day or when I've had a good day, and she knows sometimes I just need a little bit of space. And she's like, "Okay, I'll be in the other room."
That's awesome.
But, yeah.
So, when you were in high school, did you have an idea of what your career path was going to be? I'm assuming that it was not like going into the trades, because most people I would say that I talk to in the trades, unless you're like an old timer that was like roped into it early on and you knew you were going to do that, there's not a whole lot of people that when they're in high school on career day are like, "Hey, what do you want to do?" Like, "I want to be a plumber."
Right.
So talk to me about what you thought life was going to be like for a career.
So I never thought I was going to be in the trades.
Never.
Never, ever. Didn't even consider it.
Didn't even know it was a thing.
Well, I knew it was a thing, but I didn't consider it.
So what did you consider? What did you want to do? What did you want to be when you grew up?
I was actually studying biotechnologies.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Biotechnologies. And what did you want to? You were doing that in high school, or that's what you went into?
Well,
in
that's
college?
what I went into in college. In high school, I was just a plastic bag in the wind. You
Okay,
know, I was
just
just like,
whatever.
whatever happens.
So how did you settle on biotechnology? What was it about that was like, I think I want to do this?
So as with biotechnology, there's a lot of different areas you can go. It's medicine, it's research. I wanted to go into the research side.
Gotcha.
And
Start your own laboratory and get grants, or you wanted to go and work for like a laboratory that was already like started on that stuff?
yeah, my initial plan was to go work for a laboratory. And it just, I don't know. I didn't have a set plan. My idea was just, I'm going to study biotechnologies. I'm going to do stem cells, and I'm going to find ways to prevent or cure Alzheimer's and arthritis and things like that. But I don't usually have a big plan for anything.
Gotcha.
But that was my just rough plan, is just, I'm going to do this, and wherever that takes me, it takes me, kind of thing.
So at what point along that path did you decide this isn't for me?
Just when I was enough in debt to think this doesn't feel right, and that I wasn't passing classes, so I'd have to retake the class and then dive more into debt and things like that. And,
Gotcha.
yeah.
So so what did you do? What I'm trying to figure out is I want to find the path from biotechnologies into working here at Any Hour. So what happened after that? Were you working at the time?
Yes.
What were you doing?
So I worked for a security company first, and that's where I met Jeremiah, who referred me to Any Hour. But I was working for a security company, didn't like it, moved on.
When you say security, like you were a bouncer at the club?
No, home security.
Home security, like doing like alarm sales or things like that.
Yeah.
Were you in sales or installs?
I was in kind of this weird hybrid position where it was sales retention.
Oh, gotcha.
So before the system had been installed, the customer would call in and say, "Hey, I don't want the system anymore." And I'd say, "But wait, yes, you do." So it was kind of a weird situation there. I didn't like the job, so I moved on to a different job that I really, really hated. And at that point, I said...
Same type of work, or what kind of work was that?
It was pest control over the phone.
Gotcha. Cold calling people, or was it like leads? Like, hey, I hear you got roaches.
It was leads. I mean, when you think of a pest control company, you don't think massive call center. So the place where I was working, we serviced the entire nation and just took overflow calls. So
Gotcha.
we serviced hundreds of pest control companies across the nation.
I gotcha.
But I didn't like the job, and so I was in a really low spot. I hated what I was doing, and I just sent a message out on Facebook.
Were you married at this time?
Yes.
Okay, so you were married.
Yep.
Wasn't digging it. Okay, so you sent a message out on Facebook, like a public post?
Yep, just a public post, and said, "Hey, I'm looking for a job. Whatever you have, I'm going to take it."
Okay.
And then Jeremiah said, "Apply at Any Hour. You're going to love it. It's going to change your world." And I thought, I don't want to be a tradesman. Tradesmen are dirty, vulgar, vile dudes. I don't want any of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, what the heck? Let's just take a shot in the dark. So I applied. And the first day, it was back then we did the fleet meetings every Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked in the room and thought, oh my word, this isn't what I thought tradesmen were, you know? And from the get-go, I was sold. I wanted to work at Any Hour. There wasn't anywhere else that I wanted to work.
So did you get other recommendations? Like, did you look into other things at the time when you were like trying to weigh your options?
No.
No.
Any Hour was the first one to respond.
Gotcha.
And I went in the next day after they responded, and I just stopped handing out my resume. I thought, and I had a beard down to here at the time.
Touching the middle of your chest for those listening. So big old beard.
Yeah, big old beard, big long beard. And at any hour, everyone is clean shaven every day. And so when I walked in the room, I thought, oh boy, I'm going to be in big trouble if I want to work here. But after I had my first interview, I went home and my wife had only known me with a beard. And I said, honey, I need to shave my beard. And she looked at me in shock and thought, what are you talking about? I said, I'm meeting with Jeremy tomorrow. I need to shave my beard. She said, no, just wait until the end of the interview. I said, no, I need to let them know I am so serious about this job that it's gone. And it hasn't come back since. So,
wow. Was that, so your wife had never, so I'm assuming she liked the beard, or was it one of those things where it's like, well, if you want to?
No, she loved
the beard. Because like I grew a beard out once.
Yeah.
When I wasn't working here, obviously.
Right.
And my wife tolerated it. That's what I would like say. And so she was not unhappy to like, see it gone. And when we like go on a vacation, if I don't, shave for a few days.
Yeah.
She's like ready for me to come back to work. But anyway, okay. So you shave, you meet with Jeremy. Jeremy's the general manager for those that, are listening that don't know the org chart here at Any Hour. Okay. So how did it go? Well, I mean, you work here, but like talk to me about that.
I sat down with Scott, who is the plumbing manager, or one of the plumbing managers. And at the time he was the drains manager. And it wasn't necessarily a talk about like, here's why Any Hour is awesome, or here's the awesome benefit packages, the things that you get from most other places. He just sat down and talked to me one-on-one. And I just kind of, in an act of desperation, just put everything on the table. I was like, listen, I'm newly married. I'm stuck in school. I've got a pile of debt. I'm not going to be doing well in school. I'm stuck, and I just need something for me so that I can provide for my wife and my future kids and everything like that. And he said, dude, I totally get it. In fact, I was in school before I started working trades, before I became a plumber. So I totally understand where you're coming from. And then it turned into, and here's why we think this would be a great career for you. And we just had a really one-on-one down to earth talk. And I was like, this was cool. And then after that, I came in for the second interview with Jeremy. They gave me the job, and then it was training from there.
Ever since. And how long have you been here?
2 years.
2 years. So when you met with Scott, like at what point did you think like, okay, this is where I want to work? Because like you said, like I don't want to be a tradesman. I don't think I'd like the culture or the type of people that you have a stereotype in your head. But then you walk in and it looks and feels different than you expected. Then you go through the interview process. At what point did like what was said, what was done? When did you think like I'm shaving the beard to like impress Jeremy?
So I made the decision to shave the beard after the interview and everything.
With Scott,
yeah. But I was just impressed by, at the meeting, by the way that everyone carried themselves. There was food after the meeting, so there was a blessing on the food, and just the way that everyone carried themselves and the way that the employees were treated. It wasn't just, your employee number is 1306993 kind of thing. And I don't know, you weren't treated like a number. You were treated like people here. And I don't know, it's kind of hard to remember at this point, but I just remember being awestruck, frankly. I mean, by the way that everything, the way that the meeting went, the way that people were smiling and greeting each other. I had so many handshakes and smiles as I walked in the door, and I was just wearing my, some nice get up with a beard. And I don't know. I mean, Any Hour just shook me to my core. And I thought, if this is how this company operates, this is what I want to be a part of. This is who I want to be.
When you went home and explained it to your wife, They're like, hey, I think this is what I'm going to do. This is where I want to go. What are the things you said to her? Like, what kinds of questions did she have, and how did you explain what we are to her?
Yeah. So I remember going home and I was just firing, just, hey, here's what happened here. Here's what happened here. And I didn't say that I need to cut my beard until after I listed all the cool things and all the good things that happened. But she was, excuse me. She was asking the questions, how was the interview? How do you feel about the company? And I was just firing off. I was like, oh my gosh, they're so cool. Everyone there, like, they don't look like tradesmen. They look like nice guys. They look like missionaries for anything. And she was like, oh, that's so great. And so what's the next step? And that's when I said, well, I got to meet with the general manager tomorrow and I need to shave my beard. And that's when it went from, wow, this is so exciting, I'm so happy from you, to no. That
was a deal breaker for her, huh?
I felt like it was. Yeah. But
so okay, so you come in, you meet with Jeremy, and they offer you the job. You come in, you start training. Once you got here, was it what you thought it would be?
Absolutely.
So now that you're here, talk to me about what it's like. Like, what are your favorite parts of? Have you been in drains the entire time?
Yes. Yep.
So talk to me about what you like about the drains department.
The drains department is a super solid group of guys. Everyone is willing to help each other. If you need a day off or something, everyone's willing to step up and take the extra calls. Everyone cares about our customers, making sure that we give them every option that we give is something that'll either make the home more comfortable or more safe. And it's not, there's no competition inside of the department that isn't positive. So it's, hey, I want to win, but I want you to win too. Everyone just brings each other up, and the department's just thriving. It's an amazing department to be part of.
Gotcha. Talk to me about the experience of going out, and because when you go into a situation, one thing that I think is probably consistent amongst the trades is that when we show up to a home, the customers usually, unless you're given a bid on something that they're doing to upgrade, but for service work like we do, a lot of times the customer is in a negative kind of situation in the house because something broke. It's never convenient. This is interrupting their life. Talk to me about interacting with the homeowners and what that's like.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I love interacting with our homeowners. We get to meet some really awesome people, and at the end of the day, we get to make their life better because we're fixing their problems. And so usually, they can be a little standoffish or uptight at first, but we just show them, hey, we're here to help. We're friendly.
Would you describe yourself as a people person?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So are you an extrovert? Like, are you outgoing and like always been someone who loves the, conversation and company of other people?
Yes, but I don't like instigating it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're a sociable person, but you're not going to go out of your way to initiate the conversation.
Yeah.
That's good. How has that skill or that personality style, how has that served you in what you're doing?
It's actually kind of been a disservice.
How's that?
And I've had to correct it because, it'd be awkward if, I came into your home and you're expecting me to come do the work and I don't say anything to you. I'm just like, all right, here's the business. Just slap the receipt on the table, and do something like that. So I've had to overcome that and find ways to be personable or find something of common interest or even just something to talk about. So but once I get past that initial hump of, all right, I got to break the ice. Once I'm in, it's a lot better.
Do you have a go-to icebreaker that you use to like help yourself, get past that initial starting the conversation?
Not really.
Not really.
It's just I'll try and find something interesting within the home. I mean, when you walk in your door, Mike, what do you have just within the door? Say within the first 10, 15 feet of the door.
The kitchen table.
Kitchen table.
I like to eat.
Okay.
I don't want to have to go very far. No, I'm just kidding. It's a small house, so that's where the kitchen is. But yeah, I mean, I see what you mean. You got like pictures of the family, or things that you want to make a good impression on anyone coming into the home. So you're probably going to put things there that you are interested in or find interesting. So you just identify something there and ask questions about it.
Yeah, it could be a family picture. It could be, a lot of people in Utah, they love to hunt. So talk about the nice mount that they have on the wall, or something obscure. There was I remember one homeowner there, they had a 10-foot by 8-foot puzzle in their living room. And my family loves to puzzle. So that's immediately where my eyes went. That was the icebreaker, and we were off to the races.
Nice. So. What kinds of things can you see that are Dungeons and Dragons indicators?
Usually it's a poster or, some of the handbooks, the hard copy handbooks. Sometimes some people have medieval armor or swords and things like that. So I don't know. It's just, or even just like a little figurine that's that big, there's just a handful of things.
You just recognize it.
Yeah. You just walk in and you go, oh, this person rolls initiative.
See, it took me a second there, like rolls initiative. Like that's an insider term.
Yeah.
That's cool. Soon to be one of those insiders.
Yes.
Austin and I, we're going to be rolling deep on those initiatives soon. What's an initiative?
Initiative is basically your marching order for a fight. Yeah.
I noticed that the shapes of the dice are different.
Yes.
Like, does each shape is one of them like, hey, here's your attack moves, here's your retreat moves, here's your
kind of
power.
Yeah. So you have a 20-sided die, which is you roll it for initiative, you roll it for ability checks, which is whether or not you jump over a crack in the wall or a crack in the floor, or it could even be, do I remember or understand what this creature is? So you'd roll the 20-sided die, and that would help determine the outcome.
So that we're not too, much of a hindrance on our first game. You should probably find us a YouTube video that's like a, don't look dumb at your first Dungeons and Dragons game. Okay. Like send us that video so that we can know things like, here's what this dice does.
How to D&D 101 kind of thing.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, we could probably type that in and find it ourselves, but
see, the biggest thing is it's such a broad game that the how to D&D videos are going to be like 30 minutes to an hour long, just explaining, all right, here's your 20-sided die, and here's your 8-sided die, and your 4-sided die, and like all these different things. And then it's going to go into, what kind of creature do you want to make? What do you want their class to be? Do you want them to be a fighter? Do you want them to be a rogue? Or do you want them to have magic powers?
All right.
There's a lot of layers. It's like an onion.
It's like an onion.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier that Jeremiah, did you say?
Yes.
Introduced you to Any Hour. How did you know Jeremiah?
So he and I worked at the home security company together.
Gotcha. And he was working here at the time, or
when he referred me, he was working here.
Gotcha. Yeah. People that are out there that might be in a similar situation that you were, not necessarily that are like, what do I do? What would you tell them about the trades? and getting into something.
Yeah, I'd say that there's a lot of negative stigma about the trades. But Any Hour has understood this. You make what you want people to perceive. And trades are an excellent, if you want to be one of those dirty, vulgar, vile dudes, then you can do that and you can still make an excellent living in the trades. But Any Hour has turned it into you don't have to do that, but you can still make an excellent living. You don't have to feel dumb because you didn't go the college route. In fact, I don't know. The trades are an excellent, excellent, excellent way to go. In fact, a lot of the trades are dying because not enough people are wanting to go into them. So if you want something steady that's not going to go away, then trades are your way to go.
How do we change that negative stigma, that stereotype that is in people's heads?
By showing them what we do here at Any Hour, that we are the best, and that we, just have us come out to your house. We'll show you we're not that dirty, vulgar, vile dude.
If you're in the Utah market, we'll come to your house.
Yeah, for sure.
Otherwise, actually, just go and watch our Along for the Ride series on YouTube. You've been on that.
I've been on one, yeah.
Right? What did you think of that?
That was awkward.
Was it? How long had you been here when we documented your day?
I don't even think 6 months.
Really?
Yeah.
What was awkward about it? Help us, make that less awkward. Give us your feedback about being on the show.
It was fun. But it's awkward just knowing that there's a camera right there the whole time, and then it's kind of like Talladega Nights, I don't know what to do with my hands. There's a lot of that. It's like, I don't know what to do here. So
did it get more comfortable as the day went on?
Oh yeah. Once I was in the house, it was like, okay, you can film whatever you want. I'm here doing work for this homeowner. But it was most of the awkwardness just came while you were in the truck because you were driving and you're like, so you play the sports ball? I don't know. It was just one of those awkward things where I was like, I don't know what to say. I'll just turn on the radio. Okay. Hey, can we turn that down? We gotta have you on the mic. Oh yeah, sorry.
So, what can we do when we're going to be riding along with the tech to make them feel more comfortable, or do you feel like you were adequately prepared?
Yes.
Knowing what to expect?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not that. It's just the whole situation is awkward of just having a camera there.
Sure. A lot of people don't like that.
Yeah.
All right, I get it.
But
plus your camera guy was the man, right? He made things easy. He made things just nice and relaxing.
Well, Austin was really awesome. I enjoyed riding with Austin. It was a lot of fun. Austin's awesome.
We call him Austin. Awesome. Okay, so we don't call him that. That's why I can't say it. He is awesome, but all right, cool. How does the training go? How did you get trained up? How are you learning about things? Because when you started, you weren't in the trade,
right?
So what is that? That's got to be appealing too. This is a way to the drains department is a way to kind of get your foot in the door without having to have tons and tons of experience. So we take a couple of things that are as part of the plumbing system, and it's a way to kind of begin that journey. So talk to me about what the training process looks like. So
for training in as a drainage technician, we have you in a truck for at least 3 weeks. Your running calls, we're going over a little bit of technical, how we do our service system, things like that. And then other than that, running drain equipment, it's really not that hard. Running a snake, just about anyone can do it. So we get them to that level, and then how well you want to succeed is determined by how much study you do. And if you ask my wife, she would tell you I spent hours outside of work where I was watching YouTube videos, where I was reading plumbing forums, where I was, I'd take pictures of weird things that I saw throughout the day, and I'd go online and try and search them and figure out how they work. And and just things like that. And so really we want to set you up for success, but if you really want to succeed, you've got to put in the work. And that's just how it is, not just in drains, but in every trade. Is if you want to do really well, you've got to know the materials that you work with, the types of homes that you're going into, study some of the architecture of some old homes, things like that, but ultimately, yeah, I'd say the biggest thing if you want to be really, really successful is study. And my wife can tell you this too. I used to wear myself out and I'd have nightmares about work. Not necessarily about work, but, I'd get stuck in a dream where I couldn't diagnose a line or, something started leaking and I was like, I don't know what to do here. So then I'd get up and I'd study it and I'd go back to sleep. And
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, what kind of ongoing training so there's obviously, if you want to master your craft, you're probably going to have to go, and have some initiative and study some things on your own. But what kind of continued education is there here at Any Hour?
Yeah. So at Any Hour, depending on which way you want to go, because as a drainage technician, you can either stay as a drainage technician, you can go into excavation sales or sewer sales, or you can go into plumbing. In excavation sales, you can take school for that, but there's no school for sales, so it's just we have you read some books and things on sales and get you familiar with that concept. And then if you want to go with the plumbing route, Any Hour has tuition reimbursement for trade school. So I'm actually involved in that right now.
That's awesome. Where do you go to school at?
Mountain Land Technical.
Nice. That's where I did some electrical studies back in the day.
Back in my day.
I'm not that old, homie. You wouldn't invite an old man to D&D.
I might.
Okay, you might. Well, you just did earlier in the show. You invited an old man. All right, cool. Before we go, you got any shout outs? You want to say hi to anybody that's listening?
Hi, Gwendolyn. I love you.
Nice.
I think that's it. Yeah.
All right. Well, now, before we end the show, we do have a segment, and this is another thing. Just like the music was a surprise, you don't know about this closing segment that we do. It's a segment called Don't Judge Me.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you a series of questions, options. Like I'll give you, it's either or, okay? And it's rapid fire. Don't worry about overthinking them.
Okay.
Because like the name of the segment suggests, no one's going to judge you because you said, hey, don't judge me. Okay? So I'm gonna shoot these things at you and just whatever comes to mind. Okay? Don't have to explain anything. Just answer away.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm nervous, but okay.
That's okay. Nervous is okay. You ready?
I think so. Yeah, let's go.
All right. Spicy or mild?
Spicy.
Water or soda?
Water.
Country or pop?
Country.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Summer or winter?
Ooh.
Got him.
I'm going to go with winter.
Okay. Sweet or salty?
Sweet.
Football or basketball?
Football.
TV or movies?
Movies.
Jim and Pam or Dwight and Angela?
Ooh. That's a fun one. I'm going to go with Jim and Pam, though.
Okay. The Bachelor or The Bachelorette?
Is there a third option?
Bachelor in Paradise.
Is there a fourth option?
So you can say pass.
Pass.
Okay.
Hard pass.
Is that because you've seen the shows and like no, or like never seen it, no interest?
I've seen it.
Oh, which one did you see?
I think it was The Bachelor.
Well, were there a lot of women on the show or a lot of men? That'll help you determine which one it was.
That's a fair point.
Were they speed dating women or speed dating men?
I've actually seen a little bit of both.
Okay.
Hard pass to both.
All right. Well, there you go. Bath or shower?
Shower.
Pedicure or manicure?
Ooh, petty.
Flowers or chocolate?
Chocolate.
Pizza or burgers?
Burgers.
Does pineapple have any business being on pizza?
Yes.
I haven't had someone say no yet.
Really?
And like with all the controversy surrounding it, I would have expected a no by now.
Okay.
And possibly a fist fight.
Because I was staring down the camera, staring down the viewers going,
Yeah.
it does.
You were like, come at me, bro.
I mean, I don't usually put pineapple on pizza, just as a personal preference, but it has a place on pizza.
All right.
Yeah.
Getting technical with the answer. But you don't like pineapple on pizza, but you don't hate on those that do.
Yeah.
I don't know how you would have a Hawaiian pizza without pineapple.
Yeah. If I had to choose between just a plain cheese pizza and then a Hawaiian pizza with ham and pineapple, I'd choose the Hawaiian.
I probably would too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
You have a great name, Mike.
You too, Mike.
Should have known this was going to be a great episode just from the get. Like, who's our guest? Oh, Mike's going to be on the show. Mike does well on these shows. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. We'll be back on Tuesday with a new episode of In the House. If you'd like to know more about Any Hour Services, visit anyhourservices.com. I've been your host, Mike Wilson, and you've been listening to In the House.
House.
Ah, he's got it. See ya.